What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's the extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to entertain the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Make your next thing a big one. Speaking of entertainment, today on the program, I have Lance Curtis. Who's Lance Curtis? Well, you're going to find out in the next few minutes if you don't know by now. Have you not been keeping up with the What Makes You Famous podcast? He was on here. All right. So Lance Curtis is going to be talking to us in the next few minutes. This week's shows, as I'm recording this, let's see, Thursday night, I'll be at the Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill in Morrilton, Arkansas. The Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. They got great food, great drinks, great people. Oh, my goodness. This show is my newest public show, Thursday nights. And it has been going exceptionally well. We're outside on the party patio, and they're already getting ready. You know, as soon as it starts to get colder, they got heaters all set up for us on the party patio. And I say party patio, it's not like it's wide open. They got a big fence all the way around to block the wind. They got a roof over our heads, and they got plenty of tables all spaced out. So yes, we're having a good time at the Cedar Lounge. It's going to be great. And I guess if it gets too cold, the restaurant inside is plenty big enough if we got to move inside a couple days, or if it gets too cold. But my goodness, they're preparing. They're getting us all set up. They're ready. They got the heaters all set up. And I have a stage, and I'll share the stage with you. You provide the entertainment on a Thursday night at the Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill, Morrilton, Arkansas, from 6 till 10. Oh man, it's a good time. Have I made it clear? It's a good time. And then on Friday night, my usual Friday night gig, the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, 8 p.m. until almost 1 in the a.m. Full bar, kitchens open, pool tables, pool tournament. Always a good time. Video dance party, karaoke jam. Now, both of these, I've said video dance party. You're not supposed to be dancing on the dance floor while we have this COVID thing going on, but you could dance in your chairs, and I'll play that good music, and you'll go, why is he playing that good dance music? We can't dance on the dance floor. Well, you got to remember in your mind. Remember the good times. Remember when we used to be able to dance on the dance floor? Yeah, I remember those days. I remember that time. It was just a few months ago, wasn't it? Well, it'll happen again. Those days are coming again. These scientists are working on these cures and treatments. We'll be done with this COVID thing real soon. And then on Saturday night, I have a private party. It's a wedding, and unless you're invited, you cannot come. Nah. I love that there's weddings coming back. Oh, yes. Weddings are my specialty. I like to entertain the people. Oh man! All right, let's get into it with Lance Curtis. All right, I got Lance Curtis on the Skype. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube, youtube.com/user/Keys Dan, or just look up Keys Dan on YouTube, and you'll see the Radio What logo right next to my name, and you could find Lance Curtis's pretty face right there next to me. All right, let's Skype Lance Curtis now. We got it. Lance Curtis in the house, in your house. If you're watching on the video, you could see Lance Curtis's pretty face right there next to me. I'm pointing at you. And if you're listening to the audio, I encourage you to check out the video on the YouTube. Lance Curtis, catching up with you, man. It's been about, half a year since we talked last time on the full podcast. Tell me about you. What's been going on in your life, Lance Curtis Music?
So, a lot of things have happened since the last time we talked. About 6 months ago, I signed a contract with Kent Wells, which is Dolly Parton's producer, and I've been working with him, and we've been writing and recording, and just getting this new album ready. It's been quite a ride. It's been a lot of fun, and I've sure had a great time doing it. So
You know what's funny is talking about albums. I thought the kids these days, the independents, the records, I guess everybody was doing singles. It's only singles. What's an album nowadays? Because there's nothing really physical for the most part. Most of the time you go one by one on iTunes or Spotify or what have you, and you buy them one at a time. What's an album, Lance Curtis?
Well, it's funny you say that. I was only signed for 5 songs, and which is an EP, extended play. Mm-hmm. And so when we finished the first 5, my producer was like, you know what, I'm going to record 5 more with you. And I'm like, oh, man, how much is that going to cost? And he's like, don't worry about the price. He said, it's completely on me. He said, we're going to do this. We're going to do it right. And I said, man, I sure appreciate it. But so we recorded 10 songs to put on this album. And so it went from an EP to album. It was kind of funny how that happened, but it was, I'm sure, blessed. And I've got a really great producer, and I love him to death.
Well, I mean, you can give him a shout out for sure. But you're alluding to the business side of making albums these days. That first 5, it sounds like you had to pay something for studio time or use the studio time, and then that second 5, it's kind of on spec. It's kind of let's put them out there, and whatever money you make, I'll get a piece of it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you can shine a light on how the music business is working these days, because I know people have had great times in the music business. There've been those bands that have made millions of dollars, and the music business makes millions of dollars as well, and everybody gets happy and everybody gets rich. But then the little guy, the guy who's just starting out, the one who's been doing it for 5 years with his brother. I don't see your brother out there, but we'll talk about him a little bit later. But tell me how is money being made nowadays? And those first 5 you paid for, those second 5, how do they get paid for? That kind of thing.
Right. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy how the industry works now. It's completely changed. And so like 20 years ago, you'd walk into a label, they'll say, hey, we're going to give you $20,000 to go record. And they're giving you the money up front, but in the long run, you still have to pay that money back. And so throughout the years, it's kind of shifted gears. And instead of just paying the money back in the long run, most of the time now it's pay the money up front and then make more money in the long run. And so it's kind of a win-win. You pay everything up front and you make more money in the end game. And so that's kind of how labels are working now and stuff like that. And so it's been crazy. It's been hard trying to learn all this, but yeah, that's kind of how it works. And I paid for musicians and studio time. That's common. That's about everywhere you go now to record. And so, and it's top of the notch players. These guys play for Dolly Parton and Reba McEntire and Tim McGraw. So, you pay for good people, but it's one of them things where you have to pay it, or the quality won't be the same. You get what you pay for it, if that makes sense.
I've heard that so many times. That's been a saying I've grown up with. You get what you pay for. Save up your pennies. Get the good stuff. And I'm sure that the hired guns that Dolly Parton uses have to, and I say hired guns, that's affectionately what the musicians that play. If you go back to the 60s and the 70s and you go around Nashville and Motown and Stax Records and all those different places that had the in-house musicians, they called them the hired guns. For those people that don't know what that expression is, they're the same 4 or 5 or group of musicians that played on every record ever made, probably that you've ever heard, minus the singer. You'll have somebody that'll lend their vocals, they'll come in, and then there'll be that same group of musicians behind every one of those vocals. It's kind of an interesting aspect of how music was made. But then when they go out on stage live, which we'll talk about that as well. Are you heading out back live? When they go live, they'll have their regular backing band and not the studio musicians. So tell me about how has COVID been treating you? I mean, you been stuck indoors, or have you been going out live? Have you been playing for the people?
It's been, at the very first of this, it was really hard. It's been hard for everyone, I think. But we were booked solid all year long for shows, and we were supposed to be out on the road just about every single week. And as soon as COVID hit, all of our shows got canceled or postponed, and so some of them we've already rebooked. We've already played some of them. We still have a few more in the future to look forward to. But as COVID as COVID progressed, and we started learning a little bit more about it and trying to figure out the ins and the outs of everything. We started playing a little bit more shows. I was actually in Nashville this past week, and we played a couple shows at the listening room, which was fun. We've got to play at the listening room several times now during COVID. Several places in Nashville we played, and we're still following precautions. We're wearing masks, we're keeping our distance, and some places we play at, they've got a big shower curtain screen stuff right in front of the stage, so it kind of eliminates all risk of, say, if the singer was to have the virus, it eliminates the risk of giving it to the audience. And so we've been taking precautions and trying to follow by the rules. It's been crazy. It's been wild, and I'm ready to get back to shaking hands and giving hugs. That's me. That's who I am. I'm a touchy person, so I like to get to know my fans and stuff and shake their hand and talk to them and stuff. And it's been a wild ride, and I'm ready for things to get back to normal. But in the meantime, we're still trying to figure it out, taking precautions and keeping our distance and all that.
Hey, I think you'll find that most people are touchy people. This COVID thing of keeping people apart is stressful on people's minds, man. And you being a musician, you being a songwriter, and I'm guessing you wrote all 10 of those songs. Is that right?
I did, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So when we went into the studio, my producer set me up with some really good writes, and so I got to sit down in the room with Grammy-nominated hit writers, people that writes for Jason Aldean, Brantley Gilbert, Parmalee, Brooks and Dunn, Maddie and Tay. I've got to sit down with these people, and we wrote 5 songs and stuff, and then the other 5 on there I wrote with some good friends of mine, Corley Barker and Rhonda Funk and Tyler Downs, Dalton Black, and some of them I wrote by myself. And so it's a very good mixture and variety, but I was very blessed to get to sit down in the room and get to write with all these people and be a part of every song, if that makes sense.
Well, Lance Curtis, I'm glad you're giving credit where credit is due. One of the great things that I like about this podcast thing is not only do I get to promote you, but I get to promote the people around you as well, and make sure that people know, and you will make sure that people know that you're not doing this all by yourself. You have other people around that are helping you to collaborate to make this great music. Yes, it's the Lance Curtis Music, and that's the banner that's going to be under your under your likeness when I put this podcast out. But there's a lot more to Lance Curtis's music. Now I see you're in a room. You have a microphone there. There's a computer behind you, maybe a speaker. Is that your own home setup that you could do maybe little demos of, or what kind of work do you do in that room?
Absolutely. So this is my home studio, and I've got my computer here. I've got some speakers set up, and I've got just about all the instruments you could think of: drums, bass, guitars, pianos, and all that. And I've cut a lot of demos over here, and a lot of my demos that I cut get sent straight to my producer, and that's kind of how we decide if we're gonna record these songs and stuff right now with all COVID going on. And so but yeah, it's fun. I like to fiddle around in here, and have a good time. And it's definitely, during COVID, it's a really good way for me to still be active and doing something. And so I really like it a lot. But yeah, I also record local artists and stuff around here too. So if there's anybody listening, then I'd love to talk to you if you are interested in cutting a demo or something.
Well, what's local for you? Go ahead and give the people an idea of what the area is you're in.
Well, I'm in Batesville, Arkansas, but I'm willing to work with people anywhere from 150, 200 mile radius, and pretty much however far you're willing to drive, I'd love to work with you. And so,
You're in this room. Is that a recording studio of some kind? You can record people in that room?
I can, yeah. So this is actually half studio, half bedroom, but I've been very blessed to get to work with several artists and stuff around here, like Mary Beth Bird, which was top. I believe she was in the top 5 on The Voice, and she was a finalist. And she's a great artist, a great friend. I've worked with her and stuff. We cut a demo, and um, I've worked with a girl named Ashton Brooke Gill, which was on American Idol a couple seasons ago, playing Hardy, and so. It's been a lot of fun, you know. It's definitely been a way to learn a new aspect of music because there's so much difference in recording and live performance as far as sound goes. Because recording, you have to make sure everything is dialed in just perfect, and live sound, you know, you just set your general settings and you normally go with it, and so. But it's been a great experience. I really enjoyed it.
Man, I've noticed that you've been putting out other people. It's not just all about you. Whenever you're doing your social media, I get to follow some of those names that you've mentioned. I've already been following them because of you. A lot of the people I would never have known about them if not for you. And it turns out, you have a momager that's also putting you out as well. I got a chance to talk to her on the podcast. You can give her a shout out and tell me how things have progressed with how she's running the management business, and how is she helping you to navigate through the waters, the shark infested waters, and make sure that you don't get ripped off in the music business.
Yeah, so I've been very blessed. God has truly blessed me with a great mom and a great manager, and we call her my momager, and she's done so much for me. I couldn't thank her enough. A lot of people say moms will work the hardest for you, and that is the absolute truth. I swear. But she's taken me so much farther than I probably ever could on my own, and so I'm very blessed to have her. And we started off just booking small local shows around Batesville and stuff, and it's really taken off to booking bigger venues in Nashville. And she got me in front of Dolly Parton's producer, which I signed with, and so I'm very blessed to have her. And I couldn't do it without her. And so she's kind of been, just during all this COVID stuff, she's been trying to call around and book shows, and she's been working really hard on all my social media stuff and all my promoting and all that. And so she's still been able to do a lot and stuff. As far as COVID, it's kind of slowed all of us down, and so she'd like to do more than what she is doing right now, but she's doing a lot still, and I'm very blessed to have her.
Well, being a mom is definitely the hardest job in the world. I know I don't want it. I'll go out on the streets and get my hands dirty and come back tired as can be, but I know that I'm not doing the same job as a mom's doing. That's for sure. And taking care of the kids and the traditional mom. I know that there's a lot of moms out there that are working hard on the streets as well and come home tired and still have to come home primarily and take care of the kids. But, I know that your mom in particular, man, she is all about her kids. In fact, you go to her Facebook page, it's her kids right up there on the banner, that she's putting you guys out there to the world and giving you the chance to do what you want to do. And we'll talk about the kids. It's not just Lance Curtis, but it's also Lawson Wayne. I noticed you talked about the drums, and I'm guessing that he's been banging on those drums. Where's Lawson?
He he is in his bedroom right now, probably playing Minecraft. He when we're not out on the road, he's a your average 15-year-old. He loves sports. He loves video games. He's got him a little girlfriend right now, and so he's always preoccupied and stuff when we're not playing shows, and which is good. He needs to. A lot of times he sacrifices so much to do what I need to do and what I want to do. And so it's good for him to come home and still get to live his childhood. And so I'm really happy. He's playing sports right now with baseball at Batesville, and he's doing that. And he's been, still able to go to school some days and hang out with friends and all that. And so I'm really glad for him because, the life that we've chosen to do to make a career, it is a tough one as far as trying to balance school and sports and friends and all that. And the fact that he's able to do both and juggle it all and stuff, I'm really proud and happy for him.
See, I'm glad you have the insight that to know that, hey, this is a hard job to go out on the road and at night. And, I think my first job, I was washing dishes until about 2 a.m. And this is in 10th grade. My first real job. I mean, before that, I was, mowing lawns and doing the babysitting and all that kind of stuff. But my first job was till 2 a.m. And then I would get up around 5 to go to school. That lasted about 2 weeks. There's no way. But you have that insight to know that, hey, you're working till 10, 11, 12 at night, and then trying maybe to go to school the next day on a school night. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. But yeah, I'm glad he's well-rounded. You say he's playing video games. Find me on Twitch. I'm streaming live, playing a lot of Fortnite. Way too much Fortnite. He plays
a lot of Fortnite too, so I'll tell him that. And he's actually got to play with some of the professional gamers and stuff that play with Ninja and all that. And so he's really good at it, man. He might be a little out of practice. I think he's been playing Minecraft more, but I'll tell him to go find you on Fortnite. And,
well, yeah. Keys Dan, I'm out there. Hashtag Keys Dan Gaming. I've won the Battle Royale a few times. My goal is to get a few more times, but there's a whole another thing going on, the Nightmare Royale. Do you get into the video games? What's your pass when you're not playing music? And I know they're always playing music, but when you're not playing music, what are you doing, man? What are you doing for fun, Lance Curtis?
This time of the year, I like to deer hunt, and as you were saying, your goal is to get a couple more Battle Royale wins and stuff. My goal is just to get one of those, and so I play Fortnite every now and then. I get on Xbox probably once a month, just a rough estimate. I'm normally all the time fishing or hunting or, out on the road, and so my life stays pretty busy as far as work and stuff. But when I do get the chance, I like to sit down and just do some deer hunting. It's the best way for me to clear my mind, and I can't tell you how many songs have came to me sitting out in the deer woods.
Well, I know I've been doing a lot of shows over at the Rab in Conway, and I noticed that the men in the room are dwindling. They were over the last month or so, where I was just me and the ladies, and I wasn't mad about that. But I'm used to seeing more fellas in the room. And where are the fellas? Well, they're up on deer stands, all covered up in camouflage, similar to what you're wearing right there, and trying to shoot a deer. Which is, man, I have a brother-in-law that goes out every year and shoots, a deer. Maybe, I guess it's one or two, but one, really, that gets you the meat for the year, right? Or half a year. Do you come back with a deer usually every year and feed the family?
Man, I sure try to. The past, I guess, 2 seasons, we've been out on the road so much that I've only had the opportunity to go at least 2 or 3 times throughout the season. So, but with this year, with everything kind of slowed down, I've got to be able to take some time and get out there a little bit more for me, and get out there and sit, and I've seen a couple deer. You know, I like to think of myself a good sportsman because I let the little ones walk and try to wait for the big one. But in the past, before we started traveling a lot, I was killing a lot of deer, and I actually killed 2 deer with 1 bullet one time, and so that was a really cool story and experience, you know. And so, but I just love deer hunting. It's one of my favorite things to do. I've been doing it since I was like 2 years old, and so I just grew up to love it, and so.
Hey, Lance Curtis, that's a country song right there. 2 deer, 1 bullet. Now, that could be a metaphor for that you love 2 girls at the same time. Huh? Huh?
There
Two
we go.
deers, one
There we
bullet.
go.
It's in there. There's a song starting. Okay, that's the idea. Write it down. Go. 2 deers,
There we
one
go.
bullet. I'm looking for it, man. It'll be coming within the next year. You'll hear 2 deer, 1 bullet. Lance Curtis. I hope. I'm putting it out in the universe.
You'll be seeing that big fat royalty check in your email and stuff too, because that's a good idea, man.
Not even
I
looking
like
for that, man. But yes, thank you so much. But I am so jealous of people such as yourself that can take their life experiences, that could take them and put them down on paper, put them to music. Now, I don't remember. Can you read music? Are you classically trained, where you've gone to school and reading music and all that?
I am not classically trained, so I've been playing music my whole life, and so I play by ear. And when I was 9 years old, I started hearing music and just started picking it out from there. And for the last, I don't know, 9, 10, 11 something years, I've been playing stuff up on stage and just loving every minute of it, you know. And so I do read the Nashville number system, though, which is something that we all use in the studios. And it's pretty much just your 1, 4, 5, 6 minor. And what it is that each number represents a chord on the guitar. And so if you got your 1, say you're playing the root of G, your 1 would be your G, your 4 would be your C, and your 5 would be your D. 6 minor would be your E minor. And so I've been reading that for about 2 years now. I've had some lessons on that, you know, with music theory and all that. But for the most part, I'm completely self-taught.
So instead of lettering the strings on your guitar, you number the strings on the guitar.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Wow.
So it comes really handy. Like I have a guitar right here.
As you would, I imagine you'd have a guitar within arm's reach at almost any given time. Go ahead.
So if you're playing your G would be your 1, you know. And then you have your 5, which goes down to your D. And say you got a 2 minor, that would be your A minor. And your 4 would be your C. And so when you're in the studio, it really helps because they give you this piece of paper and you sit down, you're looking at all these numbers, and without even hearing the song, you could sit down and play the entire song just by looking at these numbers. And so I really love the number system. It's a great thing, and I know it's used in every single one of my studio sessions over in Nashville. And so but it's kind of a brain twister at first. You have to really sit down and do your studying on it. You know, it's one of them things where it's not going to come natural, but as soon as you get it, it's like algebra, where the first few weeks is the hardest weeks of your life, but when it clicks, it clicks. And so it's one of them things, though.
I've been told my whole life that math is mathematical. I mean, music is mathematical, that they go hand in hand. You can interchange them. Now, being a young man who's in school or just out of school, did you go through this Common Core thing, and have you done a transition between the math that I grew up with and maybe your mom grew up with to the Common Core? What was the difference? What was that going like? I mean, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm kind of interested. You're just fresh out of school, or are you still in school, or are you fresh out of school? And talk about the math.
I've been out of school for 2 years now, And so, but yeah, I did study Common Core, which was pretty much the easiest way to simplify or explain Common Core is picture this. Picture let's say we got a question here. It'll be like Jeff goes to the store to buy eggs. What color was his car? And I kid you not, I had questions like that in Common Core, and I'm like, what in the world? How does this even apply to everyday life? And I had a really great tutor and stuff who kind of helped me with Common Core. I wasn't a dumb kid by no means, but I had a really sweet lady that sat down with me and kind of showed me what to do and all this. And once you figure out the kind of like the how to do it, then you're still like, how you do this? And so it's one of them things where Common Core just ain't ever gonna make sense. And one day I pray to God that someone would come along and say, hey, let's change it back to the old ways, because that's the easier way.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were talking about moms earlier in the podcast. I have a wife that's not only a mom, but she's also a homeschool teacher to our 15-year-old, and she had to figure out the Common Core and how to teach it that way, because there's going to be standardized tests that want to show the work, that you've done it Common Core way. But I still don't know it. I don't know it. There's no way that I could do something and show the work right now. I'm sure if I sat down and took the time to learn it, I would know what color that car was that he drove to the store. To Jeff. Come on, Jeff. But yeah, man, I'm trying to figure out things about what's going on with the young people and the struggles that you're going through. Now, I noticed that. Speaking of young people, you're taking the COVID more seriously. I noticed that more young people are wearing masks, and sometimes you're wearing designer masks, just to make it fun. Put a deer face on the thing, and hey, look, I'm wearing a designer mask. I'm doing my part to keep people safe. What are you thinking about the COVID? I know it's become real politicized, and Dems and Republicans are all going back and forth. You didn't do good on this, and I would do much better, and it would, but yeah, I mean, what do you think about what's going on society wise with how they're treating this?
I think my honest opinion is, if you feel like wearing a mask protects you, by all means wear a mask. If you feel like it affects your breathing, by all means take it off. I'm on the fine line of, if it's required, I'll do it. If we're in a place where it's not really enforced, then you just you do how you feel. I personally believe that if it's gonna help somebody feel better, then by all means, well, wear the mask, and so and that's something that we got merchandise with Lance Curtis mask, and so if you would like one, send us a message. We'll get you a price, and we got different designs and stuff too. We got like gold glitter and plain black and white, and so just send us a message. We'd love to talk with you.
See, that's how you make it fun, man. And you can put a little money in your favorite artist's pocket as well. Give them a little shout out, put a little more merchandising on your face. It's some good. I remember in the Super Bowl, people would get paid big money to wear a hat, of a certain merchandise that, hey, I know they're going to be pointing that camera at you. Or the football players would wear a little patch of their favorite merchandise, making a little extra scratch on that, some extra money. So, man, that's a thing that's been going on for years. And now that you have this real estate on your face that's getting covered up with a mask, because, people wear T-shirts that have logos on them all the time. Why not wear a mask that has a logo from your favorite Lance Curtis, from your favorite musician, everywhere, So, okay, all right, I get it. So you're getting into that. But, even, seriously, when people go to the shows that I'm doing, most of they're getting governed by ABC and different regulations. So yes, we got to wear a mask when we're walking in, when we're interacting with each other. But when you're sitting down having a drink or having some food, you could pull that mask down a little bit. And I tell people, I give a promotional video before almost every show, and I say, look, if you're feeling sick, if you're feeling scared, stay home. Don't go to this show. Don't go. We only want people that are going to feel like they're healthy, their immune systems are good. I'm no scientist, but then you can't even trust the scientists. There's scientists on that side that'll say, wear the mask, and then there's scientists on this side that'll say, don't wear the mask. For different reasons. Wear the mask because it's going to protect everybody. Don't wear the mask because it's going to inhibit your breathing. And then, right. Sadly, the president got COVID, but happily he got through pretty quickly and pretty well. It seems like he's doing all right. He took that mask and went, COVID didn't get me. See ya.
But I think a lot of it is just God looking after him, and so in my opinion, he's a great president, and he's ran this country really well. And I'm excited to see what happens as far as the election coming up. I think might be next week or the week after that. It's soon, but I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. The president is a hard job. It shouldn't even be just one guy. It should be a committee of people up there, maybe 7 really smart people in different industries or different ideas. But it shouldn't be just one guy up there losing all his hair. But hey, it seems like President Trump, he's keeping his hair. What hair he has, I'm not sure even if it's real hair. Man, nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going on up there. But it's kind of fun, But it's a hard job, and whoever gets up there, you got to respect that office for sure.
That's right. I was raised where no matter who our president is, no matter what party they are, I was raised where they are our president and they need all the support we can give them, and so pray to God for them. They're still men, they're still human, they make mistakes, and that's one thing about being humans. We all make mistakes, and so our president, no matter who it is, I need all the prayers we can get.
Well, beyond president, that voting is important because you have the local government as well, and those are the people that are taking care of you at your front door, on your doorstep. Even the sheriff, and the mayor, and the people that are the local government. Make sure that you vote for those things and the things that are happening in local times. I know that I'm talking a little bit about voting. I'm still on the fence whether I'm going to vote or not. And I haven't done it yet, but I think I'm going to. But the other thing is the 2-party system, going all the way up to the top again, where we only have 2 people to vote for, and out of 300 million people, how many people are in this country? Out of hundreds of millions of people, and we got these 2 guys. Come on, man. No, I think we should have more choice than the 2. But hey, you can go back and forth for hours and hours. But just give a little idea of what do you think about the 2-party system? Should there be more choices?
I feel like we've got a really strong system, and I agree with what you're saying and stuff. It is a hard job for one man, and so, but I think that's why the White House has as many staff as what they have, because it kind of helps the president run some things, and so but I get what you're saying. I agree with it, and it's one of them things where you just don't know. It could be a great thing. It's just one of them things where it hasn't happened yet, and so. But I'm not really a political man. I try to keep my options open and stuff for both parties. Try to look at the good and the bad, and I try to kind of just stay to myself about it.
Yeah,
And so,
I don't like how the teams kind of divide the country up. I know that there's pieces on that side that I like, and there's pieces on this side that I like, and I hate that there's sides, man. Can't we all just be American and be down the middle? Somewhere.
hey,
Most
we're all American.
Yeah, most people live right down the middle. Okay, you like guns, but you don't like this, and you like that. There's different things, but there's all nuances. But Lance Curtis, if you weren't doing music, if you were never able to play guitar or sing a song ever, what job would you want to be doing?
That's something that I've thought about a lot, and even at a young age, I really loved like the mystery TV shows and stuff with the FBI and all that. So if I never picked up a guitar, then I'd probably be an FBI agent. And I really love the idea of that. That seems so cool to me, that just to be able to be in that kind of work environment and tracking down like America's top 10 most wanted. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, that's
But
another hard job as a cop, man. Being a cop is a hard job because you never know what you're going to get into. I feel for them. I feel for them. They're trying to protect us for the most part. I know there's got to be, bad apples. Like we said before, we're human, all that stuff. But for the most part, I think cops are doing okay. They're doing a good job. You ever watch that, was it Parks and Recreation, where one of the characters pretends he's an FBI agent, Burt Macklin? Have you ever watched Parks and Recreation?
man, I've never seen that one, but I definitely need to check it out.
Well, it's the same guy that plays Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
Right.
Well, he's also in Parks and Recreation, and he plays a kind of a dope, but he's a musician. He's a musician in that show as well. But he really can't get a break because he's not a good musician. But he comes up with some songs that the town seems to like, but outside of the town, he can't get any recognition. So, you've had similar startings, where you played in the town. Now, what are some of the places you can give shout outs to? Some of the places that you're playing in town in Batesville, and then you've already alluded to some of the places that you're playing in Nashville. What have you played recently that that have opened up, that have given you that chance to play during COVID, with precautions? Give shout outs to those people, and hey, what shows are coming up real soon for Lance Curtis Music?
Absolutely. So, it's been a little bit since I played a show close to home, but I have been playing in Nashville quite a bit. And I've been playing at places like Listening Room and Belcourt Taps and The Local. And been playing at like Douglas Corner before they shut down, and the Bluebird Cafe. And it's been a lot of fun, and we excuse me. We spent a lot of time on the road last year. We were in Georgia and Florida and Alabama and Tennessee and Arkansas. And I think the last show I played that was close to home was about a month and a half ago. And we played at a place in Searcy with a good friend of mine. His name is Bo Renfo. And he is a really, really great guy, great musician. And he, back in the day, he played on the Grand Ole Opry quite a bit. He's toured with Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard and a lot of the greats. And so, but I've been playing a few shows with him, and we had a good time and stuff. And I played at Jimmy Dole's, actually. I played there about 2 months ago, I guess, with Craig Campbell. We got to open up for Craig, and the very next night, the next night, we went to Nashville. We did a live stream show with him, and so it was really fun. We had a good time. Craig's a really good guy and a good artist, and I wish him all the best. And his wife is super sweet, and it's been a lot of fun, and we've enjoyed all of it.
Man, I enjoy listening to your music when you come through my stream. Now, Jimmy Doyle's, is that the one in Jacksonville?
It is.
Somewhere
yes,
around there?
sir. Just right outside of Little Rock, and it's a pretty good place. It's one of them old timey honky tonks.
Oh yeah.
Per se.
Oh yeah.
There's not a lot of them left.
No, but it's got to be good for primarily country singer. And you're staying in the country genre. You're not going outside of that at all.
If the time comes where the opportunity arises, I might kind of dabble into something else. But as for the most part, I'm a country boy, heart and soul, and so I'd love to stay in the country genre, but I'm willing for everything.
I could see a rapper show up and do some country rap with you, or teach you how to do a little country rap. No, I know that genres are mixed. What's that?
You've heard my southern drawl and stuff. That'd be a lot of teaching.
No, but I know that there's lots of crossover songs that have been trying to fill those niches. Once again, not dividing the country. Oh, you like hip hop, you can't like country, and you can't like this, and you can't like, you got to divide the genres into different things. No, don't divide us. Put us all together. Let's mash everything up. I think that show Glee was mashing everything up. You ever watch that Glee show? They were like a cappella group or something.
I have seen that. Yeah, that's a really good show.
Yeah, and they would mash up songs that you would never think would be mashed up together. And you're like, how did they get those? Because it's all 4/4. It's all 4/4, right? It's all four chords. When you picked up that guitar, you impressed me to no end. You played 4 more chords than I can play, which is, pretty much 0. So you were actually making music with your fingers and those strings and that guitar and that instrument. Bring, 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 bring. And it was like, wow. You just picked it up and it was just natural. Amazing to me.
Appreciate it, man.
Oh, for sure. I could tell it's been in your hands for years. So I know that Lance Curtis and guitar go together like, bullets and guns. No, peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Okay. That's just me and the Elvis thing coming out.
I find it a lot of time. It's my guard. It's like my shield because a lot of times if I feel nervous or anything, I go right behind that guitar, and it's just like I've heard George Strait talking about that a lot, and it's just one of them things where it comes so natural. It makes you feel like behind it there ain't nothing in the world wrong, and so I love it. And I've had a guitar in my hands since a year old, believe it or not, and I just fell in love with it. And it's a lot easier to hold now. It's not as heavy. It's not heavier than I am now, and so that makes it a lot easier,
Well, Lance Curtis, tell the truth. Are you sleeping with the guitar? Is it close to you at night while you're sleeping in bed all the time?
Man, I've got one in my bed right now. I ain't gonna lie. It's my baby though. It's my ES335. It's 79 model, and it's actually really unique. It is a studio version guitar that they were experimenting with, and it has 2 pickup jacks in it, and which is odd because back then they only had 1. And so they only made like 300 guitars in the world just like this, and I happen to have one of them, and it's a really special guitar to me, not just because it's unique and rare, but my grandpa actually owned this guitar, and he played it all his life growing up and stuff. When I was growing up, I seen him on stage have this guitar, and we played a lot of shows together, and he actually sold it 5 years before he passed away. And so after he passed away, I tracked down the guy that bought the guitar from him, and I said, man, listen, I've watched him play that guitar ever since I was a year old, and if there's any way you'd sell it all, I'd love to buy it. And he sold it, and so I bought it back from him, and it's good to have it back in the family,
Man, that is a beautiful story, Lance Curtis. Well, for the people watching the video version, they're definitely going to want to see this guitar that you've been describing. The audio version, people, you won't know. So grab that guitar. Get it off your bed. I know it's been sleeping there soundly. I knew you were sleeping with a guitar. I knew it. The man eats, sleeps, and breathes music. He does. Oh, look at that thing. It's gorgeous. Wow.
It is my baby. It's a Gibson ES335. And when I got it back, I went and had it reset up and all that stuff, and it plays just like it's brand new right now. And so I love it.
Oh, well, let's see those pickups.
All right.
What is it? Double?
They are the
What are they?
original pickups.
What kind of pickups are those? What do they call that? I have a Gibson, an Ibanez with double humbuckers. What would they call those pickups?
I think these are humbuckers right here. It gives off the really good tone as far as hollow wood and stuff, and I think that's what's in here. It's been a while since I've checked up on that, but I think these are humbuckers.
And is that a solid guitar? And you say it's Grandpa's guitar. How old is that thing? What year was it?
This is a 70.
Wow, man. And it's not just the age of a guitar, it's the playing of the guitar that gives it that sound, right? That's what I've been told by musicians. What are your feelings on that? You got to play that thing.
Man, it's like one of them things where the age gives it the history, you know. And so it plays so good. It has the original sounds that you hear in like Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings and stuff. It gives off a really good tone, which I love. And I don't know if you can hear it and stuff not plugged up right now.
Oh, yeah, I can hear it. I hear it just fine. I mean, do you think about your grandpa putting his fingers on those same strings and that same position? You think about your grandpa when you're playing it, and is that your primary electric guitar when you're playing on stage, or do you have others that are more primary?
This is my primary when I get called to go play lead for somebody, or if I'm sitting here in the studio and I'm recording some tracks for people, then this is my go-to. And I think about my grandpa all the time playing it, and he had a Telecaster as well that he played and stuff after he sold this. And my uncle owns that, but I got to take it out for a couple shows and stuff one time, and it still had his cologne sprayed on the guitar that you could smell that rubbed off his fingers, and so it was definitely experience I'll never forget. Just be able to hold. It's the little things. You don't think about cologne being on a guitar and stuff while someone's still living, but after they're gone and stuff, it's the little things like that really bring back the memories. And so.
Oh yeah, and you are keeping him alive, keeping his memory alive. People believe in different things, but I think it's real spiritual, man. When you're grabbing your grandpa's guitar, or even handling his tools, or things that the people that we've loved and that have gone, to the other side, wherever that side may be. It may be nothing. It may be something. I don't know for sure. Nobody knows, right? But if you're using the equipment that they left behind, or the things that they left behind, you keep their memories alive. And man, you playing that guitar, I can tell it has to have a certain feeling. You have to have your grandpa's spirit, energy, feeling, whatever it is. You have to have it, and it's part of that guitar. That's wonderful, man. That is wonderful. And then there's this acoustic. He puts down grandpa's guitar, and does grandpa's guitar have a name?
I call it Gibby.
Okay. And then you put down grandpa's guitar, and then you immediately pick up another guitar. So you got your shield, always with you, whichever shield you need. What's the history of the guitar that you're holding now, the acoustic?
So this is my J45, and so it's kind of funny how I got this. I actually got I guess 2 Christmases ago, my parents were really sweet, and they bought me a Humminbird Pro, and it was a 2017 Humminbird Pro, and it's really pretty, about the sunburst color. It has the cutout and stuff on it, and well, when it came in, it was mailed, and it was December, it was really cold, and so when it came in the mail, My parents didn't know any better back then, but if you open the box and the case to the guitar after being real cold, it will actually damage the wood.
Oh,
And it like fogs over and it could crack or something. Well, that's what happened. So they opened the case and immediately it like fogged over, and so which I didn't know. I didn't know to tell them stuff. This was like a couple days before Christmas. Well, anyways, they wrap it up and they put it in the case, and when we opened it, it was still fine. You could tell the wood was a little distorted and stuff, but I went to set it down in the case, and it just cracked the wood right down the side, and I mean just sitting it in the soft part of the case, and so um, that's about the time I found out what happened, and I was like, oh well, I understand, that's no big deal, and so I called up Guitar Center where they bought it from, and they gave us full refund back, and they said you can keep that guitar, and we'll give you the full refund, and you go get you another one. And so that's what we did, and I kept that guitar and went and had it fixed. It's like brand new right now, and like nothing was ever wrong with it, And so I went and took the money, and I got this guitar, and this is my go-to guitar now. It's the one I play for all my shows and stuff. But it's funny because I got two guitars for the price of one. So I was like, yes.
no, but big ups to the people at Guitar Center for holding, true. They didn't have to do that. That was something that they could have considered. Maybe it was your fault that you left it in the cold. Maybe. But no, I'm glad that they held their own. That's nice to when a business does that and takes care of their customer, because now you're talking about them, we're talking about them on this podcast, and hopefully somebody goes over and buys a piece of equipment. And I know I have,
Absolutely. I do all my business with Guitar Center. I spend probably, oh my gosh, thousands of dollars a year and stuff over there. And so I definitely recommend them. They are great people, and over the years, they just become family, and they'll definitely do you right over there. They'll do their best to make sure they're giving you the best deal possible. And so for sure, if you're needing anything as far as audio or music wise, go to Guitar Center and do your business with them.
yeah, from what I've noticed, whenever I go over there, it's whoever's in that department is probably working in the field in that department. I've gone to get DJ stuff, and it's usually DJs back there that are working. And I go to get to drum stuff, and it's usually drummers that are working in that department. Guitars, same thing. Every department has their own people working in it, and it's usually musicians or people that work in that field. After they're done, punching the clock at Guitar Center, they're going off pursuing other dreams, of being musicians, somewhat like Lance Curtis, going off and being a star, But I mean, as we're winding this thing down, where do you see yourself, and how far do you want this to go? Do you want to be a touring musician? Because that does take a toll on families. And I know, being a young man, you're probably not thinking about settling down right now. You're in your 20s all the way up into 30 or so. You could do whatever you want. You can travel the world and be whatever you want, and bounce off the floor, because you're still made of rubber, if you fall down. But what do you want to do with this? Do you want to be a local musician who can make a living, pretty well, being a local musician, playing parties and bars and stuff? Or do you want to be that worldwide guy that goes after the big money, and the brass ring and the gold and all that? Do you want to be away from home for months at a time and come back? What does Lance Curtis want to do with his music?
My dream has always been to be a touring musician and make it big time, and so that's what I've been pushing for this entire time. And I don't think I'd be as far as I am if I wasn't trying to get to that goal, And so that's been my ultimate goal and dream for all time. And we've been working really hard on this album with Kent Wells. and he's really excited about it. I'm excited about it. He's supposed to be giving us a phone call within the next several weeks, and we're supposed to be going there to have a really big meeting I'm looking forward to, as far as how we're going to push this music and get it out to record labels and get it out to radio and all that. And so I've been very blessed not only to have a good producer, but to have a truly good Christian guy working behind us and stuff. And I got to say, though, I wouldn't be in front of Kent Wells if it wasn't for a sweet lady that lives in my hometown here in Batesville, Arkansas. Her name is Debbie Cochran, and she's been working with Kent for years now, and she's recorded a bunch of songs with him. And actually, I think it was last year she recorded a song with Dolly Parton. And that song was just signed off at the beginning of the year to be released after radio and stuff. And she's a super sweet, super nice lady. And she actually picked up the phone and called Kent and told him about us. And she's been watching us for years. She had my grandpa come out and play at her place when he was still living. And so she just watched us grow up over the last several years, and she told Kent about us, and Kent gave us a phone call and said, Debbie Cochran told you about me, or Debbie Cochran told me about y'all, and I would love to sit down and have a meeting with y'all. And that's kind of how all this started, and how we got as far as we have gotten. And I give all my thanks and stuff to her, but most importantly, God, because he's been watching over us this entire time, and he's blessed us truly, And so, but yeah, that's the goal. I want to be a touring artist, and I'm just excited to see what the future has in store.
Lance Curtis, man, you've alluded to it, and you are, if by all that I've seen, a nice guy, man. You be nice to people, and they're going to be nice to you. And if you need something in the future, they're going to remember that. Hey, Lance Curtis was a nice guy, and he did me right by whatever I was needing him for. And then they'll recommend you to Dolly Parton's people. Have you met Dolly Parton?
I've not met Dolly Parton, but my producer says that I'm going to meet her very soon. He said, I'm going to get you on touch, and so I'm looking forward to that. But when all this COVID broke out, my grandma started making masks, just like all of our grandmas probably did. And so she started making these masks, and she made some music masks. She said, I want you to take these up there to your producer and give it to him. And I said, okay, I'll do that. Well, when we got there, we gave it to him, and he said, Dolly's going to be here like in 2 days. He said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give one to her, and I'll take a picture and send it to y'all. That way you can show your grandma Dolly Parton is wearing her mask. And so 2 days later, we're sitting at her house, and we get the message with Dolly Parton wearing my grandma's mask. And so my grandma, she about died over that, That was she actually, I think, changed her Facebook bio to the maker of Dolly Parton's mask, and she was like, started selling them things for like $50 each. And I was like, you are a legend. I love you.
Now, eventually that fame's going to hit you, man, and people are going to go, hey, I'm the maker of Lance Curtis's picks, so I'm going to double the price. No, hey, that's great, man. That's a great story that your grandma got some thrill out of being a part of a small part of Dolly Parton's life, man. That lady's done a lot for not just country music, but music in general, and people in general. Having her Dollywood and just Yeah, if you think of Nashville, one of the big names on the Mount Rushmore is definitely Dolly Parton for sure. And yeah, I would love to meet her, but I look forward to hearing about when you meet her, you know, and eventually even maybe get to be in a studio with her. I know she's kind of like a now that she's getting you know older and more in demand. People, you know, oh well, yeah, maybe I'll get to work with her. I'm working with her people. A lot of people are working with her people, you know, and a lot of people have worked with Dolly Parton. When you have a career as long as hers, yeah, I think everybody in the Nashville area has, in some way or another, worked with Dolly Parton. Like if you're here in Arkansas, anywhere in the north west Arkansas, you've worked with Walmart in some way. You know, so it's very similar. Those two different factions, you know, they're bigger than their names. So, but yeah, man, I appreciate you.
Absolutely, and you know, that's been one of the coolest things about working with her people is getting to hear her music before anybody else does, and it's like so awesome and so cool. And also, when we were in the studio, Lauren Elena came in and Ricky Skaggs came in. And I got to meet them, and they were super nice and super sweet, and it was so cool being in the same environment that they spend all their time at, you know, and so and to be accepted as a part of them, you know, it wasn't just, hey, you're a fan and it's nice to meet you and move on, you know. It was in the same environment and same respect level as what I showed them, they showed me, you know, and so that was so cool. And it's been a huge honor getting to work with Kent, and I can't wait to work with him for many more years.
Man, meeting these people, you try not to be starstruck. You know, I've met, you know, a lot of famous people over the years, and you're like putting your hand out and you're like, be cool, 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 you know, but you're still starstruck a little bit. Well, you've been growing up listening to their music or watching them on TV and films, and they've held a place in your heart and inspired you in some way. And that's what you're going to be doing, Lance Curtis. You're going to be inspiring the next generation once you get to that level. And I imagine if you want it, man, you're going to get that level. So, you know, let's wind this thing down. I guess, you know, if you have any shout outs to give to anybody, if you haven't, this will be your free time. If you have any things you want to talk about or tell people about that's going on right now in Lance Curtis music.
Yeah. So, I'm about to be releasing this new music within the next several weeks to months, and so I'm super excited about it. It's going to be really great. I've had some great musicians on it, like Paul Howe. Big shout out to him. Gary Lunn. They both played for Dolly and Reboot for years, and a guy named Jerry McPherson on guitar, and he's a really good guy. He's played on just about every single country song you listen to on the radio. And so Lonnie Wilson, he has over 200 number one hits. He's played drums on my tracks and stuff. Love the guy to death. He's a good guy. He wrote a lot of songs for Luke Bryan and George Strait and a lot of greats. And so big shout out to everybody at the studio, you know, for taking their time out of their busy schedule to come and play on my stuff. And big shout out to Debbie Cochran, my parents, my folks. And, you know, you can go to our Facebook and go to our Instagram. And I recently downloaded TikTok and started posting on TikTok, and so you could go follow us on that and Twitter and all that. And you know, that's one thing record labels look at these days is how many followers you have on all your socials. And so if y'all don't mind to go give us a follow on our social medias, all of our platforms and stuff, it would truly help us out, and we would really appreciate it. And so but yeah, man, I appreciate you, and big shout out to you for having me. And I look forward to many more interviews with you, and hope to be back sometime.
Lance Curtis Music, and then on social media, Lance Curtis Influencer. Get that man thousands and thousands of likes. All right, let's finish these things off. Last words for the people. It could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Lance Curtis, last words for the people.
You know, I appreciate y'all for all the support, and appreciate y'all for keeping up with me up until now. And for the new fans, I appreciate y'all for, listening to this interview and podcast, and for keeping up with Keys Dan. And he's a great guy, a great friend of mine. And so, but yeah, we're really excited to see y'all out on the road, coming up shows and stuff. And you can go to our website and go to our show list, and it will show you everywhere where we're going to be playing next. And so I look forward to meeting y'all and shaking your hand one of these days when all this COVID stuff is over. And it's going to be great.
Well, there you have it, party people. Lance Curtis Music. Find him everywhere. Give him a follow. Stalk that man, that young man. He's got his whole life ahead of him, and he's on a trajectory to do the things that he wants to do. I wondered if he wanted to be, local musician, because local musicians can make money. You can be a party band. You can work every week and make money. But no, he wants the big one. He wants to go all over the world, tour in front of thousands and thousands of people all over the world, screaming Lance Curtis, Lance Curtis, Lance Curtis. Yeah, I could see it. Big dreams. Do it, man. Do it. And do it, young lady, young man, whoever you are that's watching this, listening to this. You can be what you want to be. You just got to put some work into it. It's not going to fall into your lap. You got to go to the place you need to go. He's going from his hometown in Batesville all the way to Nashville, Tennessee, where he needs to be making that music, getting with the right people. Dolly Parton's people, that's the name that you need to follow. And I'm sure if you're living in Nashville and you're any kind of a musician, you've worked with Dolly Parton to some extent. I'm sure she's big. She's big in that town. And there's other people that are big in that town. He's mentioned the people that he's worked with between, Ricky Skaggs and other people. So yeah, Lance Curtis, nothing but greatness coming your way, man. I see it, and I'm glad to know you. I'm very glad to know you. And thank you so much for being a part of the show, and not just this once, but multiple times. And I suspect that we will chat in the future. If you don't forget me, don't forget the little people. He won't forget the little people. He's a nice guy. And, you do nice things for nice people, they're going to help you out along the way. So yeah, that's what's going to happen. Be nice to people. Yeah. All right. If you, yes, I'm talking to you, I'm turning my attention to you, would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's Keys Dan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.